vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at usedcarwash.com.
Get the lowdown with Lowetide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton's sports leader. Sports 1440.
Mission Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, plows, vacs, pickers, refuse and shunt trucks, plus more. Info at maauctions.com.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Mission Allen Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Oilers play an astonishing game against the Senators last night and get the win. If they play the same game against Carolina collectively, the Oilers will be wearing their ass for a hat tomorrow night. I'm not kidding. Wow. Plus, trade rumors, lots going on, some trades in the NHL as well already today. The Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick, family-owned and community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. As you know, we're online at YouTube. We're also on Sports 1440 Radio, sports1440.ca, iHeartRadio, Radio Player Canada as well. After the show, Apple and Spotify podcast. We tweeted out on X as well. Twitter, we're at Lowetide, Declan Krueger, J Fenwick04, and Mac McLennan as well. You can text us at 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can call, but we're not going to answer while we're in the air. And then when we're playing the spots, chances are you're just going to have a really brief conversation. Texting works the best. It just does. It always has. All right. Our guests today are Kevin McCertie coming up at 1 o'clock. We're going to talk about last night's game tomorrow night, trade deadline, and what's happened so far with Connor Murphy. And, of course, we'll talk Oilers win, Leon, Darnell, Matt Savoy, injuries to Lazar and Wallman. It'll be a fun time. Connor Brown as well will come up as well. It is time now for the introductions. The best trade she ever made was getting into radio. Now she's in a room where she's the only one doing any real work and has to wait until three guys mansplain everything before she can make her excellent points. Ladies and gentlemen, Mackenzie McLennan. Mackenzie.
Yeah, I will say getting into radio was probably the best decision I've ever made, and I don't mind listening to you guys. So that's okay.
It'll wear on you as time goes on. I started in radio in June 15th, 1980, and my dad said, have a backup plan. And I never did, and I've loved every minute of it. I hope that you have a wonderful career and enjoy yourself every day. This will be a bone of contention. There's going to be a lot of yelling from one particular part of the room, but I assure you it is correct. The best trade he made was giving up on the Calgary Flames organization. 100 years from now, they'll be just like every other hockey player in existence, wearing one cup. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick.
How dare you? You're talking about the Stanley Cup champions of 2029 very disrespectfully, in my opinion. I don't appreciate that, and I've never given up on my Flames. I
That'll
never will.
It'll be like
You
the first
probably
time.
should.
The probably first
Never
time in
gonna
40.
happen.
If they win in 2029, first time in 40 years they'll win the cup.
If they win in 2029, I think I'll probably take like that whole next week off and just celebrate in the
You'll be like Obi.
euphoria
Yeah.
of the fact that I called it 4 years in advance.
Yeah.
Especially because they'll be the first Canadian team to do it since the 90s.
It's a beautiful dream and another one that will die because of the Calgary Flames. The best trade he ever made was hanging up his boxing gloves to protect his giant brain. We're all better for it, and we are so happy he did. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger.
You know, I was actually thinking last night, like I should probably have a backup plan for this. Not like for that's, probably done. We'll see.
Yeah.
Only God knows. But for this, I was thinking like if, I get fired, if this goes under,
You won't.
I'm not very smart. I'm
Yes,
not
you
very
are. You're
educated.
very bright, man.
No, I got nothing going for me.
Yeah,
So
that's not true.
I was actually thinking, I was like, you know what? When I get in tomorrow, I'm going to sit Brandon Connor down and be like, hey, what's your your backup plan? Just in case. Worst case scenario.
Look, here's the thing that you always have to keep in mind. You're a bright person. There's nothing you can't conquer that you decide to, and you don't box anymore.
Well, his brain's big from the boxing.
Yeah.
It's called swollen.
So what happened to is that for your breathing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just I got a breathe right nasal strip on for anyone who's not watching on you. I've got a shocking amount of comments about it today. Like people would think there's something seriously wrong about me the way they're asking about it.
I've
Just
worn
a
them
little
before.
Stuff, yeah. They help.
kind of open up the
Nasal passage.
breathing apparatus.
It's probably all pseudoscience, but whatever.
But it may not work, but you're an aficionado of the little strip there.
Just a classic gazebo.
You know who else wears nasal strips regularly? Connor McDavid.
Oh, really?
I don't know
Well,
if you
there
guys have
go.
noticed, but all year this year,
one
when
and the
he's playing,
same.
yeah.
He can afford the really nice ones that go unnoticed.
I really got to get in the locker room so I can talk to Connor and be like, hey, Connor, Declan here, Sports 1440. First things first, hashtag Ryan Wang, and then get into my question.
Sure.
I
And then
would
you can
love
say,
that.
do you get your strips at the dollar store or where do you get them from? And then he'll tell you.
He pays a price for these that I didn't even know existed.
All right. So here we go. Last night's game, some observations from me, and then we'll go around the room. I'm sure everybody will have a few. First of all, the Brady Tkachuk tackle is not a hockey play. It's really dangerous. And, the Tkachuks have injured a lot of people over the years. Brandon Davidson of the Edmonton Oilers is an example. Davidson was a pretty good defenseman. He was an outscorer. He was ahead of his time. The analytics would have loved him. Those that were available at the time did. And he derailed, Matt Tkachuk derailed his career. And last night was a complete, I know he got a penalty, but really that sort of thing has to be taken out of hockey. You're counting on somebody being able to keep their balance, not hit their head. There's a lot wrong with that play. That's number one. Secondly, Leon Bleeding Draisaitl. Oh my God. What a hockey player. We always talk on this show about McDavid and Draisaitl. But last night he was just they were so discombobulated. Like the opening portion of that game I was like, wow, the saloon doors are being blown off by the Ottawa Senators on the road against the Edmonton Oilers. Now they settled down a little bit and they won the game. Good for them. But they got it to 2-2 and then they gave up 2 more goals. I'll tell you, I think you do have to give Paul Coffey time to get this defense organized and the structure of the defense and the forwards working together. But it really does look like an expansion team right now. I know yesterday we were talking about Darnell Nurse. I think he ended up playing over 20 minutes, not 12 that had been predicted. That said, Jake Wallman was hurt. So we'll never really know what the coaching staff wanted to do with Darnell Nurse, but it's an interesting side point. I think we can say now that Matt Savoy is a bona fide NHL player. I know it's his rookie year, but he is making plays across 200 feet. Smart player. Wallman looks like he's hurt. Lazar is hurt, and we'll see about recalls. I think they have to move Andrew Mangiapane, and I would not be surprised if it was today. Got to play tomorrow, so you've got to open up some cap room if they can do that. And there's rumors of bigger deals out there too. It might not just be Mangiapane and a second for nothing. There may be something to the deal that's coming up. Wrote about Connor Brown and The Athletic. It's up and available today. I will tell you, I won't give you the spoiler on it, but I will say that Connor, this guy, Connor Murphy, he can absolutely play against most of the opposition that comes his way in the NHL. Against elite, he'll have trouble unless he's playing with McDavid, and I don't think that'll happen because of Evan Bouchard. I think it was a really astute acquisition, and we'll see how they use him, because the only way he would be exposed is if he's playing tough minutes, say with Darnell Nurse, and I don't think that will happen. I'm not sure how it'll all shake out. We'll find out in the days to come. Anyway, they won. That's the key and the important part. Carolina tomorrow. Oh, my God. That's going to be a tough one.
Friday.
I'm sorry. Friday, and then they play on Sunday. Is that correct, Cap? So they play Friday against the Carolina Hurricanes. That's going to be a wild game. Fun to talk about a win. We enjoy that. Declan, what are your thoughts on the game last night?
Yeah, I mean, you got the win. It's about the 2 points, because at this point in the season, we're done with even remotely trying to win pretty or look good doing it.
No.
Like that 8-1 win against the Kings, that's awesome. That's a confidence booster. You would love to have every W look like that. The reality is you just got to stack W's, because you have more losses than you have W's to this point in the season. So they clawed back. Jack said it best. It was gritty. Ended up getting the win in overtime. Brady's play, like, obviously nowhere near a hockey play. This is what me and Eddie were actually, funny enough, talking about on Elks 101 this morning. For a play like that is so not a hockey play. And I completely understand Brady's strategy. Like, Leon and Connor have a 2-on-1 in overtime. Like, what do you think the success rate on that is? 90% plus, you know what I mean?
Not good.
Yeah, so I understand what Brady's doing, but in a situation like that, where it is such a non-hockey play, and again, I get the strategy behind it, I wouldn't be opposed to that being a double minor. Something like that is like similar to a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2 in basketball, where it's not a hockey play.
Yeah. I think, would you agree that you could call it an attempt to injure? I think you could.
Yeah, I mean, like, probably you could.
Yeah.
Now, I don't actually think Brady was trying to hurt him. Like, I don't think you do either. He could have got hurt on that. Brady was just trying to stop
It's a reckless
the
play.
2-on-1.
It's a brazen, reckless play. And I've seen enough of the Kachuks to know that they do it routinely, and they hurt people and derail their careers.
Yeah. No, to wrap it up quickly, I didn't love Ingram on the first 2 goals. Batheson's first goal, like, Connor, he moved away a little bit, and it looked like he lowered his left shoulder and his glove hand, and it just kind of chipped over. Like, it looked like that could have been a save he had. I didn't love the first goal either. But you know what? They got the win. We're not going to sit here and nitpick W's when they're unfortunately more few and far between this season than we would have expected. It's about wins and losses. They got the win.
Young Josh, the Calgary Flames fan.
Yep, that's me.
Supposedly.
Definitely. They got pumped 6-1 last night, just so.
Yeah, well, that's like saying,
by the Stars,
grass is green. Calgary got beat up bad.
I remember the Oilers losing 7-1 to the Stars, so.
Yeah, you're right. Flames are in a better spot.
3-1 this season against each other. Yeah, no. Hey, Brady Tkachuk, dirty play. When you're the one that says, Lowetide, you develop a past. If he continues to routinely do it, same with Matthew Tkachuk. It's like, yeah, you can don't think he was trying to injure him. Let's be real here. Let's be real. You develop a past.
Yeah, it's true.
He's probably trying to hurt him.
Like, someday, somebody with the ability to look it up on the internet, it's not research, but there's going to be a list of Tkachuk, players that Tkachuk have impacted their careers, and it's going to be a significant list.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Davidson better be on that list. But
Connor McDavid will be on that list, but not in a physical way. Strictly emotional. Zinger.
Well, might be an idea to read the room, sir.
But Leon Draisaitl is the guy, or is a guy. He's a top dog. 5 points. He had a point on every goal.
Yeah,
2 goals, 3 assists. Bush bomb to end the game. Like, that was by far, I think, the ugliest win of the Oilers season.
Boy, I'd have to look, but it was ugly.
I think it just was just the way it was. Like the Islanders, they lose. If they had pulled out the Ducks game, I would say that probably would have been the ugliest. But I think like this Senators loss was bad, or Senators win was about as bad as they looked in a win all season.
They didn't look good until they did. Mackenzie.
Okay. I went through probably every emotion watching this game, and I was sitting there and I was like, what did we do to upset the hockey gods? Because there was a lot of bad, but there was also a lot of good.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the looks that the Oilers were getting were so nice, and it was either a post or Allmark made some really big saves throughout that entire game.
Played well.
Draisaitl, his first goal, beautiful. I loved it. I loved the no quit from Savoy and Roslovic.
Yeah, they're good line mates for him.
Yeah. I really liked the third and fourth lines game last night as well, especially the fourth line drawing that penalty. I really liked that. They need to continue also bringing bodies to the net and causing a little bit of chaos, because that's when we see the most grade A chances. And it's really frustrating when they're just passing, looking for that perfect shot. And, you know, we talk about it all the time, I feel like. Podkolzin, too, him standing up for Ekholm after
shout.
that hit, that was
great.
awesome. I loved that. And Brady Tkachuk kind of taking a play out of Connor Garland's book, because it was very similar, although Connor Garland didn't like tackle him, but he did jump on top of McDavid last year in that Canucks game when they were trying to even it up at the very end. So, and anytime I can boo Brady Tkachuk, I will. And I did from my basement. So, yeah.
Well, you made a very astute point, and I don't know do you know what PDO is?
Yeah, like kind of.
Okay. It's the combination of shooting percentage and save percentage, all added up should be 100 if you're average over a full season, or 1, depending upon where you put the decimal point. The Oilers at 5-on-5 are among the worst in the league, 979. And what it tells you is that they haven't had a lot of luck. And I think there were examples of that last night. But it was interesting that you mentioned that, because it was something that I thought about today. And you know, you wonder, maybe the hockey gods are saving up some good luck for the Edmonton Oilers. I mentioned this at the top of the show. We can't carve the 12-minute prediction because Nurse played 21, but Jake Wallman didn't play, so it wouldn't be fair for me to, bring that up in that case. So we'll take that out of it. But let me ask you, based on how well Darnell Nurse has played, or not well, depending upon how you feel. Do you still feel like they'll fade him in the next game, or do you think he's kind of back, even if Wallman is back?
Probably not after that game. Obviously going to depend on Jake Wallman. It's going to need to be a sustained run of good performances.
I think that there's fan unrest, but what I noticed that was a little bit different in this particular sequence of events that occurred after those poor California games is the coaching and management were pointed in their criticism, not necessarily naming Darnell Nurse, but it was pretty obvious that he was one of the individuals that they were disappointed in and need better effort from. And that is, in the summer of 2027, Darnell Nurse's no movement deal eases, meaning they can ask him to waive for a certain number of teams. It wouldn't be impossible for this organization to do that this summer and say, look, you're a year away. It's obviously been a tough run here. We're kind of looking at retweaking a little bit. We'll see. If I were Darnell Nurse, I wouldn't do it. I would not. I have a chance to win with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and the contract was offered to me in good faith. I signed it. I'm going to play it out and honor it. And the other side should too. He has the right to insist on that, and I think he should. But I don't know his mindset. He's obviously, got a young family, and maybe he would like to go somewhere else. I'm not sure. My suspicion is he'd like to win a Stanley in this town and be a part of the lore of the 6th Stanley Cup victory forever. That's my thought anyway.
I was going to ask if you thought there'd be anywhere he would actually waive it for.
Pittsburgh. I think that Kyle Dubas believes in him. He certainly did. I remember reading chapter and verse about what Dubas felt he could do in the National Hockey League. And the Sault Ste. Marie's Greyhounds did have, what we call Corsi and Fenwick at that time. And leading up to the draft, Dubas raved about Darnell Nurse and using, analytics and advanced terms. Now, his career hasn't turned out, I think, like a lot of people want it to, especially this year. But still in all, he's a part of the team. I would imagine that he'll be here till the end of the decade would be my guess. We'll see whether or not there's an appetite to re-sign him. Okay. Anything else in the world of sports that has come through since I started yammering that we should talk about?
Since you started yammering, guys?
Anything?
I don't think since.
Okay, what has we not talked about yet that you would like to mention in the first segment, which kind of sends us on our way and gives us discussion?
Well, in the first segment, no. Like, obviously, this Rams-Chiefs thing, I think, will be touched on probably in rumors.
That's
and
coming up.
same with
The trade.
Jason Tatum coming back on Friday, it sounds like.
And the
That'll at most.
Dallas Stars trade.
Yeah, Dallas Stars trade too. So everything we'll touch on today, everything that I thought about touching on will be touched on later, I'm sure.
Today, Bouchard, Ekholm, McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge, and Hyman are not skating. And that's probably just to get them a little bit of rest, right? They got a couple of days for the game against the Carolina Hurricanes. You know, Carolina Hurricanes are steeped in analytics.
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Shout out to Delo.
Where are they in the standings? Also, Tulski. Tulski's brilliant.
Yeah.
Where are they in the standings?
I can find that out for you right now, but I know you know the answer.
Oh, no, I don't know. I'm just curious where they are.
Talk to Declan, not
What do you mean?
Well,
look, they're number one. Shocking. They're only 2 points ahead of the Lightning, though. Let's
I mean,
breaks here a little bit.
I mean, it's a long year.
I was thinking,
and the Lightning have a game in hand.
I want to do a declinations top 5 teams I think can actually win the Stanley Cup. Hurricanes will be in there. They'd be 5th.
I think we all said Kiefer Sherwood signed an extension. I didn't see that.
There was talks about being negotiated, and now it looks like it's going to happen. And good for them. They're an up and coming team, man.
I think we all said the Hurricanes are a legitimate contender. We've been talking about the Hurricanes being legitimate contenders for what, 3-4 years now?
Which one of you jack-o'-lanterns always says they can't win the big game, they won't win the playoffs?
That's
you.
Me and Donovan.
Okay.
I still don't think they can win it because I just think the way they're constructed, they are a very good team. But there needs to be a point where you need to have certain things within your team to get over the hump. And I just don't I think they're a conference finals team through and through. I don't think they can win a Stanley Cup.
Do you think they need Davo, or do you think they need Davo with one of those nose things?
Davo with one of these nose things would probably be a little bit of an upgrade on Davo without. But even it doesn't have to be Davo. It could be maybe not Panarin, a Panarin, a Pasternak, someone in that ilk.
Yeah, Pano. All right. On the way, we've got Kevin McCertie at 1:00. Declinations. I'm assuming you're doing the round ball today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forward to that.
Talking with Declan.
All right. Lots of news coming up on Rumors straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Mr. Rooter kinda speaks French.
Je m'appelle Monsieur Rooter. Je suis plombier.
Très bien, Mr. Rooter. Your name is Mr. Rooter, and you are in fact a plombier, a plumber. You are an excellent student.
Au contraire, mon frère, je suis un excellent étudiant. Also, I'm not here for a French lesson. I'm here because someone clogged up the toilets.
Ah, oui, right this way. For a plumber who speaks your language, call Mr. Rooter.
Is your digestive system crying for help? NACA Nutri Probiotic Veggie Caps fight bloating and constipation, strengthen immunity, and can even aid in weight management. Find them at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
Hot coffee, hotter takes, and the sports stories that matter. Check out Kevin McCertie weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440. Be part of the conversation. 833-401-1440.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Area Adjusted and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the two best names in the boots business.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. visioncu.ca.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Name of the artist, Mackenzie?
No doubt. Just a girl.
Really?
I'm just a girl.
Really, really good. I like that. At the beginning, I knew it wasn't them, but it had a little bit of Alabama Shakes feel to it. And I love that band. So it is time for Rumors, brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. All right, there are a few things to get to. A few Edmonton Oilers are not skating today. It's an off day. They don't play until Friday. Bouchard, Ekholm, Murphy is working with Wallman in drills, and Nurse with Emberson. That's via Jason Gregor, who's a really good person to follow this time of day, along with tuning in your radio, because down at the rink and getting great reports of McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent, Hyman, also not skating, as per Mr. Gregor. The San Jose Sharks have signed Kiefer Sherwood to a 5-year extension, mentioned a minute ago by young Josh. 5 years, a long time, $6 million annually. That's a lot to pay for I would say a middle six winger. Having said that, he does offer a unique skill set, and teams need that. So that's an interesting one. I think that at the end of the deal, it'll probably be a drag for San Jose, but they've got a long way to go, and they've got a bright future, and they got a guy who can outscore mistakes by the mile. So I love their future, man. I'm telling you, San Jose is going to be I hope they've repositioned the camera. God, I hate the camera in that rink, but I do like watching the Sharks. I thought you were going to say something. You were just changing the camera angle. What is wrong? Is my hair out of place?
No, I just like it to be as centered as possible.
Oh, okay.
For like those black.
No, you see, this is why you're sort of like Scorsese as a filmmaker. Stars have acquired Tyler Myers from the Canucks. They put Rupe Hintz on IR. I think that's a good move. Myers is a big, tough guy. Obviously, you need that in the playoffs, and you need to add as many defensemen as you possibly can. And they're adding some. I think they got a really good chance to win it all this year. I don't see the Oilers as being a team that will see them in the semifinals. I could be wrong. If they do, I think the Oilers will give them everything they can take. But Dallas does look good this year. And if they lose a lot of Mo because of who they play getting out of their division, well, that could impact as well. The Golden Knights have reassigned Raphael Lavoie, former Edmonton Oilers prospect, as they acquired Cole Smith from the Predators. Lavoie played yesterday. 834, and he had zeros across the way. So there is that. What do I want to go to next? Rams going to acquire Trent McDuffie from the Chiefs. Anything in the NFL that's interesting to you, gentlemen, right now? Is it just, gearing up, getting ready for the draft, positioning yourself, getting picks, and offloading players you can't afford?
I mean, that one is pretty big. 4 picks going back, including the 29th pick this year, 26th 5th, 26th 6th, and 27th 3rd. Quite the haul. Trent McDuffie, he's one of the premier corners in the NFL. He's a really good lockdown cover corner. Rams still feel like they're in a window, probably a shrinking window with Stafford's age, but Trent addresses a need, and he is a really good player.
And what does it tell us about the Chiefs?
That's I was just thinking that, it's interesting because they're kind of in the situation where, as long as Mahomes is there, the window is open, but you're giving up one of your best defenders for sure, a position that it's really hard to find a good corner in the NFL, like a real true shutdown, lockdown corner, because the position is so tough to play. And Trent McDuffie's not without his warts, but him being there and being that good at that position, which is really difficult to play, is a huge bonus. And they ship him out for, like I said, 4 picks that you don't know what they're going to turn into. The 29 pick, you don't know what it's going to turn into this year. Kind of an odd move for Kansas City. Curious to hear all your guys' thoughts naturally. But for the Rams, it addresses a need and kind of keeps them in that shrinking window.
Right. What about you, Josh? Thoughts on KC?
Yeah, good trade for the good trade for the Rams. I'm with that. I don't know what this spells out for Kansas City, because they're not exactly, just like the way their offense has been moving or declining essentially the last few seasons. It's like they're not exactly going to outgun you anymore. Like that's not really what their identity has been the last couple seasons, because their defense, they've really they've found strength in their defense. So I'm sort of mind boggled by the move, but yeah, as we saw this year, Stafford reigning MVP, he can still do it. He can still sling the rock. Who knows for how long he's going to be able to do that? Maybe this was the last year of his greatness, but they're giving themselves the best opportunity to win and go toe to toe with a team like the Seahawks, who are by technicality the class of the NFC.
I'm a little surprised,
and the league,
This is true.
A little surprised, Josh, that you didn't address the major question surrounding the Chiefs, and that's whether or not McDuffie will be invited to the Swift-Kelsey wedding June 13th.
Well, he might be busy watching the Rockies and Athletics go at it. So
that's you.
What? Hey, you know what? Trent McDuffie, if that's what you're going to do, hit me up. We can watch it together. All right.
There's some things that happen in life that you go, sure. And then there's others that just make you giggle. The Jets apparently are looking into Tua as a free agent. How do we feel about that?
Is Tua better than Justin Fields?
Wow. That's a good question, man.
That's really what it comes down to.
I would say yes. Not exactly an embarrassment of riches, but I would say yes.
Yeah. So he moves from one of the crummiest O-lines in the league to one of the crummiest O-lines in the league. His career will be over by week 6 next season if he signs with the Jets.
There you go. That's a good prediction. Speaking of QBs, the one that you can never find in the huddle, Kyler Murray, is apparently going to be released by the Cardinals. What's his next step if it's not the Jets?
That's another great question, because here's the thing about Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray in Arizona was in such a good situation for him personally, because even if he wasn't the best quarterback, he was hey, he's our number 1 pick. He's our guy we can hitch the wagon to. He's our guy, we can sell tickets. Come watch this dynamic, fun quarterback run around. And he can just be there. It's whatever team he goes to, he's not going to have that anymore. And the organization is not going to have that attachment to him. And then you add on the fact that he's a quarterback of the caliber where the Arizona Cardinals are cutting him, A, because it doesn't fit the timeline, but I almost did A and 2. That would have been embarrassing. But B, because they don't feel he has the capability to be their starting quarterback. So wherever he goes, it's going to be tough. Like, he has enough talent, certainly, to be better and, possibly take over jobs from some of these quarterbacks we have in the NFL. But it's going to be a tough uphill sled, man, for him to really prove he can be a starting quarterback moving forward and like a franchise alternate quarterback moving forward.
So he's going to the Vikings.
Jeez, you know what?
He would look good in Minnesota purple.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Josh. I was waiting to see if anyone else was going to say it.
Hey, man, like that's we can't say QBU because it's not a university, but everyone that goes into Minnesota, they come out a better quarterback. So maybe that's what he needs, or maybe he's just maybe he'll retire and he'll play Call of Duty full time on Twitch.
My favorite Vikings quarterback, non-Fran Tarkenton division, he was a legend when I was a kid, is Randall. I loved Randall. Who do you guys? Who's the guy that you guys really liked when he was with Minnesota?
Dante Culpepper.
Yeah. What about you, Josh?
Well, let's see. I took Kirk Cousins, I guess. Like that's
Mackenzie. What about you?
Ooh.
Yeah, Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins.
Actually, I liked Josh Dobbs, right? Mr. Alopecia himself.
The astronaut.
Yeah, he. How many games did he start for them that season? Like 3 or 4.
Played well.
He was fun. And then he went to the Niners after that, right? Or was it Niners then? I forget. But he was a fun watch. He was a fun two-way quarterback, not a starting caliber quarterback, but he was fun in the games where he was.
NBA, I wanted to ask you guys this. The Giannis rumors went away, but there's word that Mike Dunleavy was talking about Warriors maybe giving up a lot of their futures to get him. When we revisit that, whenever that is, where would be a great place to go, and where do you think Giannis would go?
Josh, you want to start?
Well, yeah. So I'm not going to steal your answer, which is going to be some team down in the Keys.
Oh no,
it is.
But
Jimmy Buffett.
I still really think that the best place for him to go is the Spurs. I think with him and Wemby, I know they both have their own health problems, but capitalize on what Giannis is right now and have him pass on his knowledge to Victor Wembanyama because he has skill, a lot of it. And Giannis is a guy who his bread and butter has really come from dominating that low post area, which is, I think, a thing where, listen, is anyone going to be able to block a shot from Wemby? Not really. But if he has some reliable moves down the post, like that's really something. And then also, nobody could score on that front court. You're basically forcing them to shoot from the outside. But guess what? These guys can both close out, and they're tall enough that they can swat your shot away. And Steph Castle is an incredibly good one-on-one defender for a guard. So I like the Spurs.
Yeah.
And you like the Heat.
Yeah, well, it's the Spurs thing is funny because I agree. Like basketball-wise, it makes a lot of sense. But you look at the Spurs; they got $30 million in expirings next year. 26 of that is going to go to Wemby and Steph Castle and team options. And they're already, I mean, it's a soft cap in the NBA. It's a little bit different. I think they have $30 million to spend on the luxury tax, but you're wondering like what kind of salary has to get moved out to make Wemby fit that also.
Devin Vassell.
Yeah, but
Harrison Barnes.
So, well, Harrison Barnes is on an expiring.
Okay,
so
good.
for next year, it doesn't matter. Devin Vassell's sitting there at 27. I like that. But you got to think they want probably Dylan Harper. They'd want Steph Castle, but I don't think the Spurs would do it. So right there, you're looking at 29 million still, and that with Giannis making like 60 million a year, whatever it is. Like I don't know how close that gets to the second apron. I haven't read the numbers. I do love San Antonio purely as a basketball fit. I hope they can find a way to make it work. The point I was kind of working around to is like they got to give De'Aaron Fox $260 million guaranteed. Maybe there's a way they could ship that, but like if you're Milwaukee, why on earth are you not that De'Aaron Fox is bad? Why are you just taking on that situation when you're trying to rebuild and reset? Like,
and also you've got a card, but once you played it, then you're kind of there.
Giannis needs to go somewhere where he's going to play meaningful basketball. That's what it is. Houston, San Antonio, whatever.
Right.
I would love it to be the Heat. I think the Heat culture fits the way he approaches the game very well. The hard reality is, and maybe this isn't the case, he might not be playing as much meaningful basketball as he could in Miami as he could be somewhere else.
Well, that's very interesting of you.
Yeah.
So he'll be a buck.
Well, you know what's funny? Like, there is something to be said for being a one-team guy. You know, like,
here's
people
the thing.
remember that.
There's also something to be said about only winning once.
That is also very true.
And it is a legacy thing at this point for him, right? And the NBA has a tendency to be driven by the players themselves. Like, they bunch together, have a couple, like the Warriors have been.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about, well, I won't be, but you guys will be talking about in 30 years.
He's good at, like, Giannis is good enough where he should win 2 or 3. Probably 3, honestly, but like that's kind of a tall task now.
Hunter Green is undergoing an MRI on his right elbow. Pitchers get hurt. They will break your heart. Hunter Green just throws a bazillion miles an hour. I love him. And he's got some problems. The Cincinnati Reds have a lot of good arms, but that's their best one. So that kind of hurts. Okay, on the way, Kevin McCertie. We've got Declinations talking round ball with Declan and Josh coming up at 1:40. You have been sending in some fascinating texts. And I mean it. Like, we got a question here about Darnell Nurse that I'm going to answer after we come back from the break. And I hope you stay tuned because I believe I have an interesting answer. Talk about ego. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Saturday at Rogers Place. Celebrate orange plastic tracks and the toy most likely to go through your washing machine. Don't miss the first ever Edmonton Oil Kings Hot Wheels game.
Be there as your Oil Kings crash and bash up the Medicine Hat Tigers.
There will be Hot Wheel car giveaways for the kids and more adrenaline-fueled fun.
And Calmont Kids food combos are $10 or less. The value is monster truck sized.
The Edmonton Oil Kings Hot Wheels game versus Medicine Hat, 7 p.m. Saturday.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
You matter. Your mental health matters, and you're braver than you think. Not Alone is an organization focused on creating a space of acceptance and support through tough, meaningful conversation. Use code 1440 for 15% off at notalonecode.com. It's okay to not be okay.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Get the Lowdown with Lowetide. Weekdays from noon to 2 on Sports 1440. He's seen it all and then some. From stats to stories, he breaks it down like no one else. Proud to be Edmonton's sports leader. Sports 1440.
Support your circulatory health with NACA Platinum Nattokinase. This powerful enzyme cleans your arteries, helps with varicose veins, promotes improved blood flow, and more. Find NACA Platinum Nattokinase at Vitality Health Foods, where customer appreciation is the first Tuesday and Wednesday of every month.
The Price is Right Live is coming to Canada, and The Brick is a proud sponsor. Come on down to The Brick to win big this Saturday, March 7th from noon to 2. Join us at The Brick South Edmonton Common for your chance to instantly win from over $25,000 in prizes, including Brick shopping sprees, TVs, Oilers tickets, and so much more. No purchase necessary. Some conditions apply. See in-store for contest details and exclusions. So come on down to the Brick South Edmonton Common this Saturday.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. 1242, Alan Mitchell, Declan Krueger, Josh Fenwick, Mackenzie McLennan. I threw you guys under the bus earlier, and I should not have, but I do it every day. I am the mansplainer on this, And usually, as the generations go by, males are better at not doing that. Do you two of you consider yourself mansplainers, or are you a little more sophisticated than the old guy?
I'm a man listener.
Okay, that's a very good thing to be.
Yeah.
Allow me to mansplain this to you. No, I think at times I'm very good at not, but then sometimes you just like you start talking about or someone brings something up and then you start explaining it, and then like I catch myself and I go, oh my god, like I can't believe I just did that.
Yeah. What about? I guess the arbiter of this should be Mackenzie. How are you doing over there with the mansplaining?
Honestly, I don't think you guys really do mansplain a whole lot. Like I know
Mackenzie, allow me to tell you what you think.
Okay, Declan. Okay. No, I feel like I'm pretty good at spotting a mansplainer like pretty quickly, and not on air, but in my day-to-day life, I'm fairly quick to be like, hey, don't talk to me like that. So if we had an issue, I would bring it up.
Let us
Good.
know.
You have what we call thick skin, not to mansplain it to you or anything.
But it comes up a little bit at home. I married Karen in September, and I am a certified mansplainer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my girl would definitely say that.
Yeah,
for sure. And to her, like she's, most people are smarter than me, but her for sure. So
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I can see why
Lowetide and you don't? That's tough.
I can see why she'd be mad about that.
Karen is way smarter than me.
Yeah.
I know I'm mansplaining when she'll say things. Oh no, please tell me more about childbirth.
Yeah.
When she says that to me, I know that I've mansplained too much.
We'll be talking a little, and she'll hit me with the read a book. I'm like, okay.
Well, we're just flawed. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, here comes a question from Stulo. When would you guys say Darnell played his best hockey? It has to be this season before his big contract extension. No. Also, if the Kings are sellers, could you see the Oilers having interest in a Perry return? And what does his bonus structure look like if the Oilers do bring him in? Thanks. Well, I think if Corey Perry were available, I think they'd be interested. He's a unique player, and he fits like a glove with a lot of the guys that are still here. So yeah, for sure. I'm not going to look at the structure right now because math is hard, but I'm sure they'd be able to incorporate it somehow. It's not like it's a gargantuan amount of money. Darnell Nurse is an interesting guy. I pay a lot of attention to puck IQ because it tells you the years that Darnell Nurse, in this example, played the most against elites. Like in 21-22, he played 42% against elites. And his primary partners that year were Evan Bouchard, 525 minutes, and Cody Ceci, 502 minutes. And the Fenwick was 58% with Bouchard, 52% with Ceci. And the goal share was 42% with Bouchard and 53% with Ceci. Bouchard, a younger player at that time. But the Ceci-Nurse pairing that year, for me, I think they did a lot of really good work. And Nurse has always had a career that involved being thrown into the breach. Early in his career, rookie year, there was an injury, and he had to step up and play on a pairing with Andres Sekera, I believe. And he did well. Now, he didn't do as well as he would have a few years later, but he did well. And then when Oscar Kleppbaum went down, we talked about it yesterday. Nurse once again slid into the breach and played well, and has for much of his career. This year has been a struggle, and I think that everybody recognizes that. Declan, what's with all this Vikings talk? What do you guys? Some kind of is that a purple shirt?
I think it's blue.
Okay.
I think it's blue. We were talking a little Viking. I actually wasn't the one who brought it up, though.
I was, I believe.
No, I thought it was Josh.
Josh. You're a troublemaker.
Well, yeah, I brought up the Vikings as a landing spot for Kyler Murray. If they're telling us to watch Fran Tarkington tape or whatever, then yeah, sorry if I brought that up, I guess.
No, who cares? I mean, the Vikings I like the Vikings. I always have. They got great helmets. I love their color. I don't know what purple is because I'm colorblind, but the color of their uniforms and helmet is really gorgeous.
They do have I've always liked Minnesota's uniforms a lot. The royal purples, it's
so good.
It's a cold color for sure.
Good.
And I wouldn't mind more purple in my wardrobe.
Saints Row. That's what that is right there.
There's a song by Genesis, the Peter Gabriel Genesis, called I Know What I Like in Your Wardrobe, and it's a great song. Just thought I'd throw that back. It's not important.
Thank you for your meaningful addition to this conversation.
Penguins have just under 50 million cap space at the deadline, a history of trades with Oilers, and the Nurse Dubas connection. Sure, but I mean, why would Darnell Nurse give up an opportunity to win a Stanley Cup with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl?
Because he could win one with Sidney Crosby.
Well, can he win one of
That's a really, really tightrope you're walking.
This would be my answer to that. And it's got to be a lot of things working in cohesion with each other. It would be he somehow goes to another situation where he feels like they are in a Stanley Cup window, and he does that because he feels like he will face less media scrutiny, he will be less of a whipping boy, etc., and possibly somewhere a little closer to home.
Maybe. I
don't have to be all those things working with each other.
I don't perceive Nurse as being somebody who would step away from criticism or have that make him, it seems to me he's a very bright guy. He doesn't have, he's confident. I think that he believes that he can help this team win. If all of those things are true, I don't think he would approach. I think fans approach it from when they see Darnell Nurse, they see $9.25 million. And I mean, if the coach plays him a lot, if they get to the summer, as I said earlier, maybe they'd talk to him about it. But I think this is and I mean, when Stuart Skinner ended up leaving town, but he didn't have a no movement clause. Richard says, Bill Hansen of Yahoo News wrote an article saying the Oilers should trade Bouchard. LOL. Pretty convincing, though. Well, Richard, there is a reason why Evan Bouchard traded makes some sense. I don't think they should do it. I love Evan Bouchard. But the Oilers are in like the seventh circle of cap hell because of no movement clauses. So if you look at the way this team is going to go now, as in right now, from 25, I'm going to be Ken Holland again, from 25-26 to 26-27, they're adding on some more no movement clauses, i.e., I'm sorry, Evan Bouchard comes up on 27-28. But then the Wallman deal, the Ekholm deal becomes a no movement clause as well. So I guess they have 2 years to trade Evan Bouchard, but they have so much tied up in no movement clauses. Their hands are tied. Now, there is an increase in salary cap coming now, and that's great. But, I'll tell you what I'm suspicious of and why it hurts the Edmonton Oilers. Are you ready for this?
Born ready.
I think Matthias Ekholm is a little bit banged up. Remember when he was banged up last year? So I like Spencer Stastny, and I really like Ty Emberson. I think he's coming along. But those guys, if somebody gets hurt, if Ekholm or Nurse gets hurt or Wallman gets hurt, then Stastny's got to move up. And the same thing on the right side. Emberson would have to move up. So you don't have the kind of depth heading into the playoffs that you really need. And we saw that in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals last year. Ekholm could barely pass the puck, and Bouchard wasn't 100%. And they were out for the critical moments that the Edmonton Oilers lost the Stanley Cup in. And you can say, oh, well, they didn't play well. They were hurt. We have to account for a player being like courageous enough to go into the breach when they're not 100%, but it definitely impacted the team. Part of that is depth, and part of that is because they are handcuffed, chained to these blasted no movement contracts. And moving Evan, I do not think they should do it, just so you know, but moving him would alleviate that.
We got to put him in Norris conversations, by the way.
They'll never give him a Norris.
I don't know, man.
Never.
I don't.
No.
I'm not
chance.
so sure.
Do you know who votes for the?
I think you're probably right.
Do you know who votes for the Norris?
I know many people who have a Norris vote.
Yeah, so they vote for guys who are they perceive as complete defensemen. I'd vote for Bouchard for Norris.
I don't disagree with what you're saying at all. I think you're probably right, because I think a lot of it's going to be narrative driven against him.
Right.
But I'm telling you, he has tied for the second best odds to win the Norris right now. Now hand up, I bet him at plus 3,000. Not a big deal. He's plus 200 right now. So great move by me at the time. Shout out Rick, who actually gave me that bet to make. But my point is, like, when you look at it's going to be narrative driven, like you said, but when you look at, goal for percentage, when you look at actual results, when you look at, the points he's putting up, like there is no reason he shouldn't be in the conversation.
I agree. I would vote for him. However, having said that, the voters will not buy into Bouchard because they see the gaffes. Do you remember when everybody was arguing with me about Evan Bouchard's next contract, and I said it'd be, over $10 million? That's what it's going to be, because Bouchard will be under consideration for the people go, well, this is a Norris year for him. And then he'll make a mistake. And then people go, you can't give him the Norris.
Well, let me ask you this as well. Do you think there's kind of been a shift in however many years now it's been where voters with the PHWA writers, they've gone from it just being an eye test thing to an analytics thing?
Let me ask you a question. Okay. How many people over 50 years old change their mind on anything, Declan?
Jason's over 50. He's one of the guys who's kind of been, when you look at those advanced numbers.
That's one. You got to go to every one of them.
I don't know about. Well, I get your point. But I just it never seems strong.
The vast majority do not.
I'm like 64. I don't change my mind on very much. If you give me a choice between salt and pepper, I will take pepper.
That's psychotic.
What if he gets to 100 points this year?
So what? They're not going to vote for him.
He's tied for the second best odds right now.
They're not going to vote for him.
I think he probably will not win one. But I don't think it's as open and shut as you think it is. I think there's a chance. I think there's a real chance.
If he scores 100 points,
I will bet you a 2-4 of whatever you want to drink.
Oh, okay.
I'm hoping it'll be apple cider, but I don't know.
Wait, hold on. So you're saying just ever, any point?
No, you got to pay off in the summer.
Oh, you're talking about this year?
Well, you were talking about this year.
Yeah, I was. But now
Mr. Better Man doesn't want to make a bet. Wow.
I think you're being really harsh on Evan Bouchard.
I'm not being harsh on him. I want him to win the Norris.
You're being harsh on the voters.
I don't think the voters changed their mind.
Let me ask you this. Do you like Connor Hellebuck just won a Hart playing 60-some games as a goaltender?
Right.
I think that's kind of out of the norm. I think that's kind of non-traditional. I don't think Hellebuck deserved it either, by the way. No disrespect to Connor Hellebuck. I thought I should have been dry. But my point being is that they kind of went a little outside of the box with that as their Hart pick. Those are the same voters who vote for the Norris.
You're giving way too much faith in voters. Let me tell you a story about the voters. Jerome McGinley earned a Hart Trophy, and he was up against one of the Montreal goalies, Theodore. I can't remember which one. And a guy from the East Coast, I think it might have been in Montreal, left Iginla off the ballot so Iginla would lose. That's the kind of voter. Until I see a concerted effort by the hockey writers to play it up straight and fair across the board, I'm not buying into any of this. They're biased, and they will not make Evan Bouchard a Norris Trophy winner ever.
I don't know about that. Do you think he at least finishes like top 3 in the voting?
Maybe if enough young people vote for him, but the old guard, not a chance in hell.
I don't know. I really gotta disagree.
Get out of my Jello tree.
It's funny because I do think you're kind of right that I don't think he's actually going to win it. Probably, he probably won't win one at all. But I don't think it's like that out of the realm of.
You're asking old people to change their mind.
Yeah.
Have you seen voting trends in the last 10 years? People don't change their mind, Declan. They get old, they get cranky, and when the cable goes out, they get possibly violent.
This would actually be a good question for Jason or Frank, or I want to know what the average age actually of the PHWA is.
Well, Frank's 37, so he's a young guy who can change his mind.
Frank would change his mind. Frank's a level-headed fella.
Yeah.
Don't trust anybody over 50. I'm telling you.
I'll you know what? We can make the bet. Well, no, because I actually don't think he's going to win it this year. I just think he should be in the conversation.
Mr. Better Man, not backing down.
Listen, man, you already put money on him. I know, getting him at plus 3,000.
You didn't even hear what you would have to give him in return. Probably a 2-4 of something he wants. Crown.
Well, it'd be Crown Royal.
Yeah.
Well, I want odds. Because
you're not getting odds.
He's not the best player ever.
I'm an old man. You're playing me. This is the kind of thing.
Change the thing of the bet, because he said he didn't think he end up top 3. Why don't you say he'll end up top 3?
No, not doing that. Straight up.
I'd take that and I'd give you odds on that.
I don't care.
All right. Well,
I don't even really know what odds are. All right. On the way, Kevin McCertie. We've got Declanations talking basketball at 1:40. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Mackenzie.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors, Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom at 11577 149th Street, now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2. Or visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring your next flooring project to life. 5 games in the NHL tonight. Detroit hosts Vegas at Little Caesars Arena. Puck drop at 5. Leafs look to snap a 4-game losing streak against the Devils. Carolina takes on Vancouver. Islanders meet the Ducks. Kraken are at home against the Blues. Canucks are trading defenseman Tyler Myers to Dallas for a 2027 second rounder, 2029 fourth, and will be retaining salary per reports. And the San Jose Sharks have reached a 5-year contract extension with forward Kiefer Sherwood, carrying an annual cap hit of $5.75 million. 6 games in the association. Thunder and Knicks tip off at MSG at 5. Charlotte looks to make it 6 in a row against Boston. Jazz are in Philly. Pacers meet the Clippers for the late slate. In the NFL offseason, the Rams and Chiefs have completed a deal that sends all-pro cornerback Trent McDuffie home to California for the number 29 selection in next month's NFL draft and additional draft compensation per reports. In the PWHL, the Torrents are in Ottawa, puck drop at 5. And in the AJ, Kodiaks are on the road in Calgary. I'm Mackenzie, and that's your Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC.
I don't favor the Sens. Takes the timeout of Ottawa, doesn't. Bouchard, keep it going. McDavid gets it back from Jason. Once again from behind in dramatic fashion. At halftime, Allmark, a brilliant stop. Stastny to Ekholm, he's open, shoots. Another save, Allmark. Did he hold it? He buries it, and we're
Bay. Boy, he should have shot it, huh? Should have shot it. Lakers will take it. Here's a 2-on-1. LeBron.
On Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Welcome to Silent Ice Center, the region's newest hockey and event center in Nisku. Featuring 2 NHL-size ice surfaces, premium seating, private suites, and an electric atmosphere. From elite hockey to major tournaments, concerts, and special events, this is where the action lives. And with Summit Restaurant overlooking the rink, every event is a full experience. Silent Ice Center, built for champions, built for the community. Book your ice, your event, or your next big night at Silent Ice Center. Email booking at silenticecenter.com.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Heavy Truck Auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including a special dispersal of 3 unused 2024 Kenworth T880 tandem cab and chassis trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Does your bank do local? We do. When you bank with Vision Credit Union, you're banking with a rural Albertan cooperative that cares about the community where you live. There's no question. We actively support our rural communities at the local level through charitable donations, volunteerism, local team and event sponsorships, and by returning millions in profit shares to our members every year. Does your bank do that? We do local. Bank with Vision Credit Union. VisionCU.ca.
Mission Rail and Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Hour number 2. After a big win last night for the Edmonton Oilers against the Ottawa Senators. A little shaky, you think? Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick, family-owned, community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. And we say a hearty hello to Mr. Kevin McCertie. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Alan. How are you doing this week?
I'm well. I watched that game last night, and I said, damn it, Oilers, and other words. They were astonishing, Kevin, is the word I'm going to use, early in that game. They came back and won it because they're just so talented. But I now understand why NHL teams rarely change defensive coaches in midstream, in mid-year, and change too much, because the alterations, I would have to think, have something to do with how discombobulated and unconnected this team looked at times last night.
Well, they looked pretty discombobulated before Paul Coffey showed up, too, which is part of the reason that he's here, I think. The thing that I saw an excellent tweet that said basically watching an Oilers game is like watching a bar fight where you hand the guy a gun first and then beat the crap out of him in self-defense, because that's pretty apt for what the Oilers experience is right now. They're certainly not convincingly winning from the outset much these days, with the exception of the Kings game the other day.
How many defensemen do you think are hurt enough to make a difference in terms of performance? I'll give you Wallman, but how many of the rest of them do you think are maybe not 100% and that it is obvious by their play compared to their established level of ability?
I would say Ekholm's probably on that list somewhere. I don't know about the rest of them. The rest seem to be keeping up, but it's just disjointed defensive play overall. I was listening to a little bit of the segment before I got on the air here with you, and I gotta say, if they ever trade Evan Bouchard, and I know, outright, I know you're against this, but if they ever trade Evan Bouchard, they might as well trade the rest of them, because that's it for the Cup window. That might be a hot take to some, but Evan Bouchard is part of the trifecta of 3 that it's going to take to bring a Cup back to Edmonton.
Let me tweak that, okay? And this is an idea I've had. I haven't written about it, but I thought about it. So when 2015, we all had the opportunity to go down to the rink, the old rink, Northlands, and see Connor McDavid. And they brought Leon Draisaitl in from the previous year's draft and Darnell Nurse from the previous show. So 2013, 14, 15 at a rookie orientation camp. I don't think it had ever been done before. 3 different first-round picks. But the reason Peter Chiarelli did it, and he stated at the time, was he felt that this was going to be the core of the group. It's going to be the centerpiece of a team that was going to compete and win the Stanley Cup. And so when we move forward from 2015 to 2026, very quickly, we can make the case, I think reasonably, that Evan Bouchard has replaced Darnell Nurse as the third, leg on this unusual looking table that is trying to win the Stanley Cup. So with that in mind, and the fact that in the summer of 2027, Darnell Nurse's no movement clause will ease, do you think the Oilers should or could or will approach Darnell Nurse this summer with the idea of trading him?
Absolutely. I think at this point, we've seen a real shift in the last few weeks, in particular, where Darnell historically was fairly untouchable from a media point of view, and now we're seeing the cracks of that. We've seen management criticize him a little bit. We've seen coaching criticize him a little bit. We've seen various prongs of the media criticize him, and that's just not like. I'm not saying that he hasn't deserved that criticism, and I know he takes quite a bit of heat from the fan base at times, including myself, but I think we're just seeing a general shift in the approach to Darnell Nurse, and that signals to me that the team is getting increasingly close to being ready to move on. I think the salary is really, really difficult. Like right now, the left side looks like Darnell Nurse 9.25, Matthias Ekholm 6.0 will be for next year, I think. And then Jake Wallman, who's got a 7x7 deal. So you've got this year $22 million of defense on the left-hand side of your roster. And I just don't know how that works going into the future if they want to balance their team out a little bit more.
So here's my question, Kevin. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm just thinking out loud now and we're having a chat. So let's say the Edmonton Oilers go through a year which has been a challenging year for Darnell Nurse. I think he played better during the regular season last year. This has been a continuation of some uneven playoff performance last year, and then that has bled into this year. So you're going to go to market, and I don't want to put you on the spot, and I don't want to, press this as you have to come up with an answer, but I'd like to just hear your opinion on it. $9.25 million, and that goes for 4 more years after this one. I think we can agree that Darnell Nurse on the open market, in terms of how you would evaluate him, is worth less than 9.25, but that's the contract hit. I was told once that for every year of a $5 million deal that you were trading off and getting the other team to take on all $5 million, it was a first-round pick. So if you're trying to trade Darnell Nurse at 9.25 times 4, what kind of a trade are you going to be able to make?
You're going to have to make a trade for an equally bad contract for different reasons. So the trade that I sort of proposed on Twitter, which I think would be feasible, would be Darnell Nurse for Morgan Riley out of Toronto. His contract is $7.5 million, same length. But the big difference that people need to account for is that his buyout terms are vastly better than Darnell Nurse. Darnell Nurse's contract is structured in such a way that basically all of his money is signing bonuses. So that means that if they were to try and buy him out, they would be on the hook for basically his entire cap hit. So they've really backed themselves into a corner in this particular aspect of dealing with trying to get out of this situation. So the way you get out of it is the same way that they got out of the Milan Lucic deal, which is to find a contract that has better buyout terms and try and trade for that. In this case, Riley is half as much money on the buyout in exchange for further in the buyout window being slightly more money, to the tune of $4 million versus $8.5 to $9 million for Nurse. It's a significant difference. I know that we shouldn't be thinking about it in a buyout capacity. We want those players to perform, but at this point, I wouldn't go so far as to say that this is a worst case scenario, but we're getting really close to it. We are really, really screwed from a cap point of view. And even with the cap increases, the team is a little bit unbalanced. And if they want to, inject some talent into the bottom 6 and bring in a couple more righties on the defensive side and maybe a goaltender, they're going to have to make a movement somewhere that hurts. And I think Nurse is the most likely of the 4 major candidates by a fairly significant margin that should be moved in that case.
Do you think we're I've said before that if I were Daryl Cates, I would tell my general manager that you don't sign anybody July 1st and you don't sign anybody a long term with a no movement clause because there's just no wiggle room, Kevin. They've got 13 contracts with no movements on them moving forward. Some check in a year from now, but they've. I'm not suggesting a public flogging, but I think it is fair to criticize the general managers, including Stan Bowman, who have signed long-term contracts for this team that include no movement clauses and really handcuffed themselves and their successors.
Absolutely. The structure of Nurse's contract is going to be a deciding factor in the Oilers' future for basically the entire duration of that contract. And that's just one contract. Jake Wallman's got no movement. Ekholm's got no movement. Evan Bouchard, we talked about the case for potentially moving him, and I think that's a death sentence for the current core. The only guys that should have gotten no movement clauses are really Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, and probably Evan Bouchard. That should have been it. And you know what? I'll accept that Nurse is a legacy case, and there's a couple other examples in Hyman and Nuge where their contracts are such value that you kind of look past the fact that there's no movement. But I bet you if you asked any one of those players to waive in the right circumstances, that every single one of them would probably agree to it. But the reality is this team is cash strapped, and they're going to continue to be cash strapped, and they have to be very, very, very intelligent with how they spend their money, especially next season, even though there's 18 million or whatever in cap. They can't be handing out any more clauses. Like those days are done. And that has to start now, because if they do any more of this, they're just going to, if any player's performance falters or there's an injury that's not career ending, they're in serious trouble.
Okay, final area. I've been beating this drum for a long time. Because they've signed so many players to long-term deals. I love Nuge. He's one of my all-time favorite players that will never change. I just love watching him play. But he's old, he's getting older, and he has a no movement clause, and it's for significant dollars. And that means guys like Matt Savoy, and I'll say Ike Howard, but I think Savoy is ahead of Howard as a player, are needed, because you need that group, Podkolzin and another, who actually could be better next year. And so, Kevin, with so many players on this team who are unlikely to be better next year because they're over 30, and we know there's a cliff there at some point in time that occurs to everybody. How important is it for Stan Bowman to not trade one of these young players who are already matriculating towards the NHL, or in the case of Savoy, are already there?
Crucial. The youth of this team is the only way that they're going to survive this interim period while they sort their contracts out. Especially guys like Savoy. I hope that they keep Ike Howard. I hope that they don't make crazy decisions with Podkolzin. I honestly hope that they don't do something silly like ask Nuge to waive so that they can make space, because he's crucial, even though he's underappreciated in his role in this team. I think that Nuge and players of that caliber, like Hyman, they're really smart players. They'll find ways to make it work no matter where they are in the roster, and I think those are contracts that are worth their weight in gold. But there are others that are not. I think it's imperative that you don't re-sign guys like Adam Henrique after this year, and you certainly don't give him any more clauses. You got to stop making the Mangiapane deals on the try-me deals, and the try-me deals need to be more structured like Roslovic. I understand Roslovic's contract is really unique in that he had a no movement clause for a month and then a modified 4-team no trade clause after that. So basically, try me out for a month. If you don't like me, I get to decide one of the 4 teams that you can send me. That to me was fine. It's a year-long contract. Him having some control over where he would go, I got no issues with that. But stop handing out super long-term contracts with no move. And I get that that's part of the incentive of bringing players to Edmonton, right? We are not the desirable market in the same way that Vegas or Florida or insert 20 other markets are, for tax reasons, for location, for media scrutiny, for a number of different reasons. So they use clauses in that case to try and sweeten the pot to get players to sign here. But it's really causing us sort of the opposite effect of what we desired, which is to ensure that we're retaining top talent. We're retaining talent, just not always the kind that we want to be retaining.
That's fair. Thank you for this. I enjoyed this conversation very much, Kevin.
Have a good week, Alan.
There you go, Kevin McCertie. He's a very interesting follow on Twitter. If you don't follow him, make sure you do. He's always coming up with brilliant ideas and interesting, takes on what's going on. How many different liquids do you have over there to drink?
Well, just 2. 1 cherry bubbly, courtesy of Connor Halley. Thank you very much, Connor. And then, water bottle.
So the bubble is, what's it called?
Bubbly.
Yeah, that's Michael Bublé made that, right?
Yeah, no, but he's a spokesman for him.
Yeah, and is it water that has a flavor, or is it actually like...
Yeah, so it's naturally flavored and it's carbonated.
Okay.
But it's just water.
And is it 0%, no sugar in it?
No sugar, no calories,
Right.
nothing. It's just water.
It's air.
Ingredients, carbonated water, natural flavor.
Okay. All right.
It's
And
awesome.
You quite
Bubblies are
enjoy
awesome.
it.
Any carbonated, I love carbonated.
Is it like VO, the little thing you squirt, just the carbonated, or?
No. It's like you're drinking water with the slightest hint of flavor.
Okay.
And the
it's
flavor,
carbonated.
yeah, and it's not like aspartame, it's not sucralose, it's
Right.
not sugary. It's just like the hintest cherry.
Okay.
It's awesome. They're not a sponsor, so no free ads, but
Now let's talk about Sweet and Low. All right, it's 1:18 on the way. Your comments about what Mr. McCertie said, and we'll get to a little bit about the Carolina game. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Say, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca and let's get to work for you.
For over 60 years, the folks at Diablo Boots have been selling the best Canadian-made boots. Handcrafted in Winnipeg, Canada West makes the best quality cowboy, biker, and work boots for Diablo Boots with replaceable soles and heels. Why buy cheaper quality like Area, Adjusted, and Red Wing made in China when Canadian-made is better? Support Canada's workers and Diablo Boots for the best boots. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Canada West and Diablo Boots, the 2 best names in the boots business.
Measles outbreaks are occurring in Canada, including Alberta. These outbreaks are highly preventable. Measles is an extremely contagious disease that is spread easily through the air. The best way to protect yourself, your family, and your community is to ensure you are up to date with your immunizations. Don't get measles. Get immunized. Visit alberta.ca/measles to find out if you're up to date and what to do if you're not. A message from the Government of Alberta.
Mission Rail and Auctioneering's Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg Public Unreserved Equipment Auction is next Friday at 9 a.m. featuring backhoes, dozers, digger derrick, forklifts, man lifts, wheel loaders, skid steers, telehandlers, turf mowers, plus commercial trailers and more. Info at maauctions.com.
From the local rinks to homes and businesses across the province, Alberta's rural natural gas utilities are here to fuel life affordably, reliably, and safely. We're members of the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops, providing natural gas to keep our rural neighborhoods warm and connected every day. It's local, dependable, and it's ours. To learn more about the Federation of Alberta Gas Co-ops and our members, and how natural gas fuels your community, visit fedgas.com. Alberta's energy. Game on.
He knows all about the Expos and Oilers. It's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Edmonton's Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
$121, this is the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family-owned, community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. We're going to talk in two shakes here about the Hart Trophy odds right now, but I wanted to bring this up. We're talking about Macklin Celebrini. So I'm going to give you a little history lesson. It'll only take a minute, I promise. When I was a kid, I noticed something that kids would notice, but adults probably don't care about. there weren't very many people from the lower mainland of British Columbia in the National Hockey League. John Ferguson from Vancouver was one of the few Vancouverites at that time who had played hockey in the National Hockey League and had been a great player. There were others, but it wasn't as prominent or prevalent. Like in Saskatchewan has like 1 million people in the province at any given time. 500,000 of them were stars in the NHL. I'm kidding, but that's about right. So along comes Joe Sakic, and I think Burnaby Joe, for most of us who are my age or maybe a little younger, would be considered the best player to come out of British Columbia. My question for you, gentlemen, and we are going to talk about the Hart Trophy. Macklin Celebrini is from North Van. Do you think he has a chance to be the best player coming out of British Columbia in another 20 years? Do you think it'll be like slight chance, good chance, or he's got a really, really good chance to beat Joe Sakic?
I think he's got a really good chance.
Joe Sakic was pretty good, man.
Yes, he was.
Two-time Cup winner, one-time Hart winner, Hall of Fame, obviously Conn Smythe.
Also, Bob Cole said his name in a way that always goes through everybody's brain because of the way he said it. Joe Sakic is as famous as you can be.
Yeah, like Joe Sakic was. I'm not ready to anoint Macklin Celebrini like that yet. Like Joe Sakic was.
I said
really,
possibly.
Yeah, even still, man,
Okay.
I got to see a little more.
All right.
Joe Sakic was like, are we forgetting how good Joe Sakic?
I'm not. Although,
no
man,
one here is forgetting about how good Joe
I
Sakic
saw him
was.
with the Quebec Nordiques, and man, they were a bad team. He was a great player on a terrible team. All right, so we were talking about young Declan is ants in his pants. He can't settle down and just relax during the breaks.
He just loves talking about betting.
And that's all he does. He's a born better. And except with me, won't bet with me. But he talked about the Hart Trophy, and he was asking us who was number one, who was number two. And I found it interesting because McDavid is what, fourth?
Yeah, we were talking about betting odds, as you guys touched on, and I was like, if I had to give you guys the top 4 betting odds for Hart Trophy this year, what would you think they are? And Nathan McKinnon currently leads. He has minus odds. Nikita Kucherov second. Macklin Celebrini is third, and Connor McDavid comes in at fourth. So that was what kind of stemmed the conversation.
Right. I just found it interesting that McDavid was that low and that Celebrini was that high. Not that I'd thought about
They're
it.
one spot different. What's the difference in odds between them?
220. Celebrini's plus 480, McDavid's plus 700. I think McDavid should be ahead of Celebrini, with all respect to Macklin Celebrini.
Right.
I don't have too much of a problem with him being behind McKinnon and Cooch.
Well, Cooch has done brilliant work, and McKinnon's had a great year.
Doing this season is
it's ridiculous.
Unreal.
Yeah.
Especially because he started out so slow.
And there is a real element of, the team success that goes into this. Colorado, 91 points. Tampa, 80 points, but, been playing incredible. Then Edmonton sitting down there at 68 points with two games up on Colorado and 3 games up on Tampa. Like, that does factor in.
Oh, sure. So. And in fairness, as Leon Draisaitl said, this isn't the same team as they had the last 2 years. But that said, McDavid is expected to play. He has played brilliantly this year.
Well, I mean, he's the best player in the world.
Yeah. But you can't, there is a thing called voter fatigue. And I think McDavid, it's not this year, but in some years he has been a victim of that.
He hasn't won it since 23, right? And then when you look at that was his last one, right? The 22-23 season. Then you look at 24.
Let me do some research.
When McKinnon won it, and you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And you look at last year, I don't think Hellebuck should have won it. I thought Draisaitl should have won it last year.
I agree with that.
Still, you would say, like, yeah, you could make the argument it's not McDavid.
So McDavid
and then this
won
year, I think you can make the argument as well.
Yeah. McDavid won the Hart in 2017, in 2021, in 2023. And he's won the Smythe since 23, and that's the only award he's won.
Yeah, and like I said, like that 24 season, I think Nathan McKinnon. I actually, what's funny? You're gonna get all over me for this. I think Cooch should have won it that year, but I think that was a little bit. No, seriously, go back, look at the number. I think that was a little bit. McKinnon doesn't have one yet, and he's really good. It doesn't make sense. He has one. He obviously had a great year.
One thing I'll say about Kucherov, he gets overlooked because he's Russian.
I don't think his name was John Smith, and he was from Burlington, Ontario.
You're damn straight. Yep. I agree with you all the time about that. If you're from Kingston, Ontario, you're a made man. And increasingly, if you're from Flushing Meadows in the States, they get a lot of voters now going their way as well. Always used to be Canadians. Like Yari Curry not winning a major award Shame on everybody.
To be fair, like obviously unbelievable Hall of Fame level player. To be fair, you look at, other guy, he was
the
pretty good.
Greatest two-way forward of his time. The problem was he was such a great scorer. People might have overlooked how good he was defensively. He's a great player.
Yeah, like, man. You look at some of his seasons, man, like 135 points into a 131-point season. Like,
if Sharks make the playoffs, Kent McKenzie says, Celebrini should be the MVP.
No question.
Yeah,
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
I don't hate that, but I don't like. I don't know if that's a lock.
I think it should be. Okay. The Sharks.
I don't hate it. I'm not.
Sharks.
I don't hate
Sharks
it.
have 23 games left. They've played the least amount of games in the Pacific. They've played 59. Macklin Celebrini has how many points? Somewhere in the 90s.
87.
87.
Yeah.
Oh, 87 now? Okay. So
did hit 30 goals.
Yeah.
Oh,
30 goals.
He's going to go fly
like
past.
Will
100.
Smith is somewhere in that 40-ish range now, I believe. He missed a lot of time.
But he's been in some really good movies.
Yes. Macklin Celebrini will hit, let's say, I don't know, just tracking. We'll say like 115, 120, something like that for points this year. Probably.
But
he'll
he might
have to
slow
do
down,
that
but-
for the Sharks to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And if he does, like, that is such a quick turnaround for the Sharks.
Yeah.
Like, in getting Macklin Celebrini, and then 2 years later, they're in the playoffs, and being a team that I don't think many people would want to go up against because, we were talking about it in the break. It's like they don't have a lot of good goaltending. Like, I'm sorry, like it's not good.
But you get that last. That's how you
Will
get
Smith.
great bigs.
Yeah, Will Smith has been injured, and so like he's really put this team on the back. And then we saw what he did at the Olympics. He took 8 shots in one game, didn't get a goal, but like he's good two-way.
The disrespect for Cranbrook Steve Yzerman, says Propane Pim. I'd put Sakic ahead. That's just my opinion, but I would put Joe Sakic ahead. I think Yzerman was a great player. I think Sakic I would put ahead.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
Stevie Y, also incredible player.
Yeah,
But-
no, for sure. But I
Joe
think
Sakic's wrist shot might have been one of the best, like, pick a player's speed, pick a player's passing, pick a player's slap shot, pick a player's wrist shot. Like Joe Sakic's wrister might be that.
Sakic's wrister and Mark Messier's wristers are the ones that I remember the most. Just glorious.
Real conversation to be had, though, for sure.
Hey, LT, have you ever thought about getting those sunglasses that allows colorblind to see color? Actually, Karen bought me a pair. And
Wedding present.
No, it's just she's thoughtful.
Wait,
Boy,
so you're like full colorblind?
Well, I don't know. Like I know that like it's I'll say this is something and people will say, I'll say this is green. Like I know it's brown.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm colorblind. I just don't know. Like I know what color you are, right?
Well, you might be wrong.
Maybe, but I don't think so.
Yeah,
but,
probably not.
But there are subtle colors. Reds sometimes bleed into maybe I think they're more like bluish or deep purple.
But you don't see everything in just like gray.
No.
All right.
No, I don't. That'd be sad. Like a dog.
When the Canadians and Avalanche did the red and blue jerseys, did that mess you up at all earlier this year?
No, but I see it like I don't know if what I'm seeing is your blue. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fair.
And so it's like, it's just been a curiosity for me, right? You know, there's some things that Mike Sobel, legendary television personality and broadcaster, he had didn't have a sense of smell, and I talked to him about that. And he's like, when I talked to him, he was like, "Yeah, I've always kind of wondered, right?" And that's to me how curious. I'm just curious about what colors look like to other people compared to me.
Interesting.
Also, I also wonder why women like chocolate so much.
Also, why is it so dark in here? On the topic of like colors and shades and things, it's a lot darker in here than it usually is.
You know what I've noticed is warmer in here than it used to be.
It's warmer in here today. So yesterday it was rigid in here for the Carius show. And so I turned it up because it was sitting at like, I want to say like 17 degrees or something, far too cold for my liking. So I turned it up and it took forever to get warm.
Do you pay the bills around here? What are you doing in terms of the thermostat up?
Luckily, I don't pay the bills around here, so
it doesn't matter.
That's why I touched the thermostat. I had to fix the thermostat at my apartment too because it kept like cooling the house down in the middle of the afternoons when I'd be home. I'm like, why is it?
Well, maybe
so
it's
cold in
preset.
here? It said it was 4 a.m. in the morning.
Well, it
That's
didn't
what our-
say that.
That's what our.
It might have
that's-
indicated
That's
that.
what our
If you've got some
thermostat
kind of
said.
wall thing that talks to you, then you better see somebody.
The thermostat indicated that it was like, hey, it's 4:30 a.m.
Well,
I was
you
like,
said it
is-
wrong.
It is not. So, well, I didn't live there when we set the thermostat.
So you say.
So I had to watch it. I had to find a YouTube video to find like the exact thermostat that we have in our apartment so that I could reset the time on it. And then like, oh man, it was brutal. And then turned it up to 21 degrees.
There you go. Entourage from Calgary. Well said, Lowetide about Yari Curry. I remember Glenn Sather on his jersey retirement night saying how he deserved multiple Conn Smythe trophies, highly underrated. And yes, Mr. Gretzky cheated for offense often. He can thank number 17 for that. I don't disagree at all. Although I will also say that Wayne Gretzky with the puck was the best defense I ever saw. Okay. What do you got coming up on Declinations round ball?
Well, we have some dunking with Declan, jamming with Josh, making baskets with Mac.
Is that really what we landed on?
Well, we got to workshop.
Yeah,
I
we
didn't
gotta
give
work
my
on it.
what
What
something
about like
with space-
mashing with Matt?
What about something with Space
Nah.
Jam? You know, Space Jam with Declan.
Mac the Monstar.
Oh, there we go.
Maybe.
Not bad.
She didn't love that one. I don't know.
I think it needs to work.
Yeah, listen, we got to workshop it.
Also, the look on your face when you said it was damn hilarious. All right, 134, whatever the hell they're calling it, is next. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Oil Kings hockey at Rogers Place is family fun that's second to none. And this Sunday afternoon, the team gives back to you.
The Fan Appreciation Game is back, one of the biggest games of the season.
Fans in attendance receive a scratch and win ticket with thousands of instant win prizes up for grabs.
Plus, all the Family Fun Sunday face painting, bouncy castles, and Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less.
Edmonton Oil Kings, Prince Albert Raiders, Fan Appreciation Game. Family fun Sunday at 4.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
if you need it immediately with no overtime rates, if you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC,
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
NHL Star Sticks are back at McDonald's, and we're celebrating by going bigger.
Make that smaller, way smaller than ever before.
Collect the set and get one of 7 mini sticks with every NHL Star Sticks meal. Featuring McDavid, Matthews, Quinn Hughes, Makar, Celebrini, Reinhardt, and Montembeau. So get yours while they last. 1 stick per meal purchase. Limited time at participating Canadian restaurants.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z, promomarketing.ca.
Struggling to find skilled workers? What if you could fill your talent pipeline with motivated, pre-vetted youth and receive funding to support your efforts? At Careers the Next Generation, we connect Alberta employers with interns in skilled trades, IT, agriculture, forestry, and more. All WCB covered, high school accredited, safety trained, and ready to contribute from day one. With 83% of RAP students continuing their apprenticeships after high school, investing in youth today means securing your workforce for tomorrow. Don't wait. Visit careersnextgen.ca to get started.
Mission Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved heavy truck auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, plows, vacs, pickers, refuse and shunt trucks, plus more. Info at maauctions.com.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair, they'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
Mission Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved heavy truck auction is next Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including a special dispersal of 3 unused 2024 Kenworth T880 tandem cab and chassis trucks. Info at maauctions.com.
Breaking down the fine art of sports,
One rep at a time.
the Lowdown
With Lowetide.
Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440. We're hanging around until 2 o'clock today, courtesy Wolf GMC Buick. Was that you? No. Every year. Just like clockwork. Okay.
You said every year, Ron. They do this every year. Sid the Sloth from Ice Age.
Time for declinations. Brought to you by Fairway Divorce Solutions. Divorce can be difficult. We can help make the road to a new life easier. Fairwaydivorce.com. I apologize to fairwaydivorce.com for reading so poorly. It's a really good ad. And I think it's a wonderful service. Okay.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about some of the bad teams in the NBA. I want to talk a little bit about Jason Tatum. Me and Josh were kind of talking during the break. You know, what direction do we go? Josh was the one who was like, "Yeah, listen, we got to talk about Jason Tatum. He's absolutely right. He comes back. He's going to play this Friday against Dallas for the Celtics." Unbelievably quick turnaround after that injury, to get here. I wonder I don't think the Celtics as currently constructed, they're 41-20. They're second in the Eastern Conference. I don't think without Jason Tatum, they could win the title. I think with Jason Tatum, they maybe could, but I also have real questions about how is he going to come in and affect their team chemistry? Like what Jaylen Brown has done this year, career high in points, rebounds, assists, has put himself in the MVP conversation and has really, now what's actually funny is their net rating without him is very good. It actually might even be better than their net rating with him, but I don't think anyone really thinks they're a better team without him. And like what he's done, like I said, he has led them to this point. So how much, and Jason Tatum, he said, he's like, I'm not coming back to be a role player, which is fair. He's the $306 million man. But it brings up an interesting question. Like, is he going to fit as seamlessly as we think? Or is he going to come in, suddenly take shots away from Jaylen Brown to a point where what Jaylen Brown has done this season, the numbers he's put up and what he's done to lead this Boston team to their record, is it going to hurt them? And that's, that's the question.
So I asked Paul, we had Paul on this morning with Kevin, and I asked him this exact thing, was like, if Jason Tatum comes back, do they try to immediately put him back into the role that Jason Tatum, or the spot that Jason Tatum is in as the number one option? Hey, we're going to start taking a lot more sidestep threes and holding on to the ball and doing all the things that Jason Tatum does. All the bad things that Jason Tatum does, because he also does a lot of good, but he's coming back from an Achilles injury.
Yep.
And Paul said, hey, 70% of Jason Tatum is very good, but with the way that the Celtics are rocking right now, you cannot just be like, hey, yep, Jason Tatum, this is your team again. Jaylen Brown is outwardly saying that, like, this is the most fun he's ever had playing basketball. He's a number one option. He's proven to everybody that he is, in fact, a number one option. It's the reason he was the finals MVP. This is his team this year, and Jason Tatum is essentially going to have to accept that and go into the Jaylen Brown role.
It's funny because I think we all think of Jason Tatum as a better player, but they were on the same team, and one guy won Eastern Conference Finals MVP and Finals MVP, and that was Jaylen Brown. One player went down who was Jason Tatum, and the other player is now putting up 29, 7 and 5, and has led the team to a 41 and 20 record. A team that I wasn't even sure would be a certified top 6 team. So it brings up like, who is the one? Is it just a 1A, 1B? And even if it is, who is the 1A? Who is the 1B? Because like I think Jaylen Brown was far more accepting of being the number 2 or being the 1B. That was kind of always how it was. It was based on draft stock. It was just conventional thought that Jason Tatum is better. I don't think Jason Tatum can adapt or is willing to adapt his game to being a 1B.
Also, just on the topic of the net rating and everything.
Yeah. It's like 14 without him?
Yeah. So on their plus 4.7, off their plus 14.2.
Pretty insane.
It's interesting because that whether we want to admit it or not, that has to do with ego, right? And perception and you'd make the team better by accepting it, but it's sometimes hard to do.
Yeah, because one of these guys, listen, how much I know about Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown on that more personal level than I do about Jason Tatum. I don't know that much about Jaylen Brown. Right. I know he's super smart. Like, he's one of those guys that was like, man, he might be too smart to be in the league because he's big into robotics and all these things. But Jason Tatum is very outward with his personal life and how much he admired Kobe and how much, and Kobe like reciprocated all of this back to him. And they're very similar players, three level scorers, except one's a forward and is better on the two-way, a whole deal. And then there was Kobe. And when you're getting, your favorite player ever growing up is like, yeah, man, you're next.
Yeah.
And you're basically getting outplayed on your own team by a guy who was on has been on what's seen as a value contract and
not anymore.
But, and then like he wins finals MVP over you. He wins conference finals MVP over you, which is a new thing. And is sort of just like a whatever. That's tough. And you sort of want to come back and go, hey man, like this is, I'm staking my claim. Like I'm the guy.
But don't you do that on the court?
Yeah.
But it's even like before you get a chance to do it on the court, like the coach is going to put in systems and game plans that are going to allow you to thrive or not thrive. And that might be what we see with Jason Tatum. Like you might just not have the ball. You might just not be taking those shots.
And the Celtics look worse when Jason Tatum was on the floor. They look a lot more stagnant.
And basketball is like individual sport, like, you know, it's designed and feature players will have more of a role depending upon how you do it. And it is a matchup kind of a league as opposed to, you know, say hockey.
And there's two levels of feature players. There are feature players that like when they have the ball, it seems like the entire team is better because at times they will just find the right guy. I'm not saying that this guy is better than Jason Tatum, but like Scotty Barnes is a guy like that, where when he has the ball, you got to watch out for everyone else on the court. I think Jaylen Brown, there's a huge aspect to his game about that because like even though he's averaging 5 assists this year, or is the 5 assists, Declan, or is that rebounds?
7 rebounds, 5 assists.
7 rebounds, 5 assists. Jaylen Brown, when he plays, is like he opens the floor up for all the other guys. There's a reason like Jason Tatum has this tag in the media and everything of like, close your eyes. Now think of Jason Tatum. What do you see? I see nothing. Like there's levels to it, and the ball stops with him a lot. And it's the Celtics are tough to watch with him. And if he takes 9 threes a game and 8 of them are these sidestep back step threes on the wing that he always seems to take and makes what feels like 10% of the time, that's not good for the Boston Celtics. But he's got to come out and be like, yeah, like this is the team. This is my team. I'm the guy that was the number 1 on a championship winning team just 3 seasons ago. Like this is rah. This is Jason Tatum's team. And they might look worse doing it. Like he has to accept the fact that like this year they have the Celtics have been absolutely rolling over people without him. And he needs to go, yeah, all right, I can do the Jaylen Brown role.
The Celtics have a better point differential than the Pistons. And actually, the only team that has a better point differential than them league-wide is the Thunder.
Right.
Like, they're
a wagon.
And you watch them play, and it's like, whoa, Derek White, whoa, Peyton Pritchard, Nemus Keatsis. Like, it's just great. You watch them and it's all these guys buying in and fitting a system. And
Can they get out of the East?
I think there's a very real possibility they can get out of the East.
see, I don't know, because I don't think they could have gotten out of the East without Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum makes me feel like they can get out of the East. But again, I kind of agree with everything Josh has said. Like, I think they're almost maybe worse with him. Like, they're just more question marks. I still really like the Pistons, but
I really like the Pistons too. Like, if that's the Eastern Conference Finals,
they grew on
that's
me.
going to be absolute cinema.
And out West, it's just like OKC and then
OKC. Like,
I
there's
don't
so
even-
many. OKC, San Antonio, Denver.
I still like Minnesota, kind of.
I like Minnesota. And then also, like, what does Kawhi look like when it comes to the playoffs?
I just
for the
wish,
Clippers?
you know what I really wish about basketball, and you guys are miles ahead of me on this, but I wish the 76ers were like the San Antonio Spurs.
I think 29 other franchises wish they were like the San Antonio Spurs. Actually, you know what?
I was
I'll say
gonna say-
27, because the Lakers and Celtics, I think they'd take who they are every
Right.
day of the week and
That's
twice on
fair.
Sunday.
But I just like it's like they show up, they do their business, they draft, they make astute trades. There's not some diabolical thing going on. They don't have a lot of drama that I see, and they reload quickly, and they're good again. And they always seem to have one great player.
I think in the totality of like the four major sports, where it comes to like smartest teams. I'm not saying teams with the most money or whatever,
right?
I.e. the Dodgers. I think it's seriously between like them and the Panthers for who is the most well-run organization.
That's fair.
From the very, very top. I'm talking owner down.
Right. Did when Kachuk got traded from Calgary, were you satisfied with the result, or did you?
No.
You thought Huberdeau was like a.
Well, so I knew we were getting at the time I was like, oh well, we're getting a 100-point guy back, and Mackenzie Weegar is good, but it's the same in all sports. When you're getting picks back from a team that theoretically is going to be good because they just got a good player in return, it's like those picks aren't really going to be worth all that much. So it really came down to that. So I was like, all right, Jonathan Huberdeau, it really comes down to you. And he hasn't lived up to the expectation. Got better every year, and then he gets to Calgary and he just plays worse.
Matt, just jumping back to the 76ers thing really quick, like they're going to have to make a real kind of decision again about Tyrese Maxey. Like they're 21-12 this season with Joel Embiid. They're 12-16 without. Like Maxey's numbers look great and all, but when Joel Embiid doesn't play, they don't win at a high clip. In fact, they're on pace to have a losing record. Like Tyrese Maxey, the numbers look great, but it's that same thing again. It's been this way for a few years now where he just doesn't really contribute to winning basketball. And it's going to come to a point where it's like, what do we do with him? Because Joel Embiid probably isn't the answer long-term either, just because of his health.
Well,
so
do they have any picks in the next 50 years?
Yeah, their
All
pick
right.
situation wasn't that bad from what I remember.
Okay. Somebody's texted in this, and I don't know if it's true, but Stephon Diggs being released. Do we have that? Is that news that we can?
I didn't see that, but we can certainly find out.
Patriots to release wide receiver Stephon Diggs from Sportsnet 5 minutes ago and ESPN.
Interesting career projection. Does anybody want to extrapolate on that?
I mean, he's a super talented receiver. This is kind of the lifespan of receivers, though. Like you're on your fourth team now. I got to double check his age.
That was his fourth team.
Why does
You're
Pro Football
32,
Reference make me verify now?
I don't know. You don't want to do that. But you're on your fourth team. You're 32 years old. This is kind of what happens when you are a wide receiver.
Okay. Yeah, I get
He's
it.
how old?
32.
But he had a 1,000-yard year this year, right?
He just barely 1,000 yards.
Oh, just barely still 1,000.
See, it's not the
1,013
same, like
yards. It's
17
different.
game season. It's not 1,000 isn't the
Oh,
benchmark
okay.
it used
All
to
right.
be.
All right. Okay. Good point.
You're sort of hovering around that. Like 1150 is better. Like 1150, good wide receiver right there.
Do you think the Patriots and other teams are taking into account his antics and life off of?
I'm sure that's certainly factoring in, as it should.
I think that plays into the NFL for just like across the board for athletes way more than it does in any other sport, because the season is so much shorter. Like it's only 17 games. It's 18 weeks, whatever. So when a guy like Steph Diggs or Tyreek Hill or any of these guys with antics that play and are good, it's a lot more headlined because nothing else is happening during the week. In the NHL, Like take the stuff from last week, for example, right? Like in a month, it's not going to be talked about anymore.
Yeah.
I got one more one really quickly while we're still on Duncan with Declan. The bottom 10 teams in the NBA, they are on a collective 40-game losing streak.
That's insane.
So,
but they're trying to, right?
They should be. It's a great draft this year.
Yeah.
They should be.
Oh my God. I'm just looking at the West right now. That's brutal.
Also, really quickly, Scott Lawton and OEL will be scratched tonight.
Oh,
which I think is very interesting.
Well, now,
now we're
you're
talking.
saying there's a chance. No, I
Get
don't think
ready.
either would come to Edmonton.
No, I don't think so.
OEL, I don't think would come here. And I like Lawton, but he'd be pricey. They'd probably want something. Oilers don't have anything. Do not trade Savoy.
I'm hammering that drum also. Don't trade Savoy.
Yeah,
it's better to just because now
I'd trade Howard maybe.
Yeah, I would too.
Yeah. You can
I
trade
think
Howard all you want.
guys. I think Howard might be one-dimensional. I'm sorry, but
I think he's definitely
Yeah.
one-dimensional.
And so the Oilers already have great offense. They probably a guy like Howard is less valuable to Edmonton than most teams because they have so much offense.
But also on the flip side, if it turns out that he isn't one-dimensional or whatever, but you deal him, you're like, hey, at least we didn't really know what we had. With Savoy, you're starting to see what you got, and it's a good NHL player.
Yeah.
So you can't really ship him out.
Just quickly, in spring training baseball, Vance Honeycutt, Baltimore, he's a center fielder, 22 years old. He's had 4 at-bats this spring, 4 home runs.
That's
incredible.
Ruthian,
Those
right?
are little league
Hey,
numbers.
that sounds like the big Amish.
Yeah. I saw that 4 home run game. That was outstanding.
That was great, and that's why I'll be watching the Athletics Rockies game rather than attending the Swift Kelsey wedding.
Boy, turning down an invite is really going to hurt you. All right. On the way, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, and the bunch. It's going to be a fun day after a win. Looking forward to the Carolina game and more. Thanks for tuning into the Lowdown. Please enjoy your day.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. 5 games in the NHL tonight. Detroit hosts Vegas at Little Caesars Arena. Puck drop at 5. The Leafs look to break a 4-game losing streak against the Devils. Carolina takes on Vancouver. Islanders meet the Ducks, and Kraken are at home against the Blues. Canucks are trading defenseman Tyler Myers to Dallas for a 2027 second and a 2029 fourth rounder, and will be retaining salary per reports. San Jose Sharks have reached a 5-year contract extension with forward Kiefer Sherwood, carrying an annual cap hit of $5.75 million. 6 games in the association. Thunder and Knicks tip off at 5 at MSG. Charlotte looks to make it 6 in a row against Boston. Jazz are in Philly. Pacers meet the Clippers for the late slate. In the NFL offseason, the Rams and Chiefs have completed a deal that sends all-pro cornerback Trent McDuffie home to California for the number 129 selection in the NFL draft and additional draft compensation per reports. In the PWHL, the Torrent are in Ottawa, puck drop at 5, and the AJ Kodiaks are on the road in Calgary. Next on Sports 1440, the Jason Gregor Show. I'm Mackenzie, and that's your Sports 1440 update.